So, welcome to the show. I know it's been a bit of a challenge to get us here, so now we're actually recording, right? 30 minutes later, 45 minutes later, we're supposed to be done by now, but I guess we're just getting started, so
we made it.
Everything works out in our best interest. So, tell me about yourself. So, where did you get started in life? So, you were born, and then what happened?
So I'm born and raised from Los Angeles. I grew up with my mom, my stepdad, and my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 3 younger sisters,
Nice.
Leanna, Diana, Ariana. And so we all played sports and we all went to private school. My parents tried the best to make sure we had like a good education and also like the opportunities that they never had. So I grew up playing sports, and that was kind of majority of the focus of my foundation as a kid. We also did like a lot of volunteering. My mom just tried to find a lot of opportunities for us. So then from there, I kind of started diverging my own path, I would say. So getting more into like college and then studying what I wanted to study. So I ended up going to college. I studied sociology and psychology.
Nice.
From there, I graduated, and my life kind of took like a sharp left turn. So
What do you mean by that?
I ended up moving to Seattle with a boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
And that was like a new beginning and a leap of faith for me because like I've never experienced Seattle, I've never visited there, and also taking like a new journey with a significant other is a big risk as well. My parents weren't happy about that at all. So when we moved there, I did face some challenges like with work and things like that, and eventually I started to begin my own path of finding a career that works for me, and so I wanted to pursue mental health counseling. So that was my goal. I also wanted to continue modeling. So I worked for a company named Simply Seattle where I was working there, and I also got to model for them as well.
Cool.
So after that, I went to school. I faced some barriers.
So you went to school and then went to Seattle and then went back to school? Or you were in school the entire time?
So I graduated from school in Los Angeles, and then in Seattle I pursued my master's in clinical mental health counseling.
Nice.
And so while I was there, I faced some challenges with a boyfriend where it was kind of like a DV situation.
What's that?
Like domestic violence.
Oh, wow.
Where it was kind of like stalking and just kind of just crazy stuff. Like he would get on top of my car and like...
Is he the one that stole it?
No, I mean, maybe, but yeah, so it was just a crazy time where like I kind of had to hide and kind of like learn how like my parents in a way were kind of shielding me from the real world by keeping me, and I understand it was like in their best interest, but by kind of trying to control or like kind of like put me in situations where they thought was my best interest, they were actually not allowing me to kind of fly and experience the world in an actual way. So once I got into that situation and kind of experienced kind of like the real world in that sense, it was kind of like a shock to me.
In what way? Like you just didn't think people behaved in that manner? Or?
Yeah, I was never exposed to it because like in private school and in sports, it's a very kind of private kind of setting where like you're familiar with certain people, you know, like it's kind of very like controlled, you know, but like in the real world, it's not controlled. Like there's all different types of people. So in Seattle, I've never experienced somebody who is like just kind of not rebellious, but just kind of different from society, I guess, and who actually isn't scared to like take advantage of people and be bad. So from there, like I had to kind of just like hide my car, like hide where I was, trying to get out of the situation. So I had to take a break from school. I came back to LA, and so now I'm trying to create a new path where I can actually be authentic and be myself and not be controlled in any sense, in the sense of my parents and in the sense of a man. Because I feel like growing up, like subconsciously, I learned that like just through their actions of like, you know, you should wear this, you should do that, you should go to school here. Like it kind of planted a seed in my mind that I need somebody to take care of my life for me or dictate my life for me. And so that was kind of what I was attracting, men who were kind of trying to control me or trying to assert dominance or kind of power over me. So I feel like now I'm in a process of self-discovery where I'm shedding those layers of the people, even though it hurts and I understand they have my best interest, but just shedding people who are kind of perpetuating that pattern for me. And it happens to be my parents, and it happens to be certain friends or people, because like if I continue down with being around those people, it kind of what's the word? It kind of encourages that pattern subconsciously, you know? So by me kind of, I guess, being rebellious or just being my authentic self, it's allowing me to shed those layers and become more authentically myself and find like my true passions and create a new narrative in my subconscious where I'm in control and other people aren't in control of my life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, based on what you're saying, like I have created a life for myself where no one can have leverage over me. No one has leverage over. Now I'm married and I have a family, so like I guess my loyalty and my like they have leverage over me. But I refer to this in business. So what I do in business is I have multiple clients. Like I always keep a roster of clients because I value myself and respect myself at a certain level where I've had to release clients like that have paid lots of money, like, you know, 6 figures a year money. And they were talking to me crazy. And because I don't need their money and I don't need their like acceptance or their validation, I'm able to say like, hey, I don't need this. I don't like appreciate how, and there was several warnings, right? Like I was like, hey, this is warning 1. Like I respect myself in this way. I don't appreciate this. And you can't communicate with me like this. And then XYZ. And then there's a second warning. And then at the third time, I was like, here's your money back. We're done. This is over and good luck. But the way you can maintain leverage is if you don't need, you have so much value and you provide so much value to so many things and you have so many options that you can't, like, no one could leverage you because you can't be leveraged. So I've always created my life in that way where I've set up where, like, you know, people do this with jobs. They get stuck in a job and then they're leveraged by their employer to do X, Y, Z. But in business, I've just always needed that. Like, I've gotten fired from almost every single job except for my last job because I would, like, get to the glass ceiling and then I'd start to rebel because I couldn't break past the glass ceiling, and then I get fired. And so that's why I had to always work for myself. Not that it was, like, that it's the right thing or that everyone else should do, but I would rather assume the responsibilities for my own behavior and take accountability for that than to have somebody who's not at the same level as me, like mentally, physically, whatever, emotionally, to try to like leverage me when I know this sounds bad, but I'm like, I'm a better human than you. Like, you shouldn't be able to tell me anything. So I completely 100% understand. And 27 is a great age to kind of like start finding your own way. I didn't have any level of success in my financially, relationship-wise, anything until I was like 29. I met my wife when I was 28. I just turned 28, like a couple days after, and then Judy, and yeah, and then after that, like we started, you know, building and growing, and so like I could relate with what you're saying. How long ago was that whole like? When did the discovery phase start? Was it just like recent or like some time ago?
So I feel like once I moved to Seattle, I think that's when it started, but I don't think I was very conscious of it yet. Like, I would try different hairstyles, I would try different kind of just names or kind of like different styles, and like none of them really fit me, and I just didn't really understand like why I was doing it. And I feel recently, I think just the kind of the awareness of the control and the power like people try to have over me, I think that brought awareness to like my journey and actually what was going on with me. So I feel like by me having just a lot of solitude and introspection, like I actually was able to kind of deep dive inside of me and find out what I really like and really enjoy as a person. And so I feel like that kind of sparked the understanding of like what was going on with me, and that I'm actually on a journey of self-discovery to find my true authentic self.
Nice. And so what's like the future look like, or what's next? Like, how does, if everything worked out perfectly for you, what would that be?
So I would say, so my name is Brianna Jacobs, or Brianna Marguerite Jacobs, and I feel like I've been unpeeling that layer. So right now I'm Marguerite. That's my actual authentic version, because Brianna Marguerite Jacobs was a version created by my parents. I feel like I am like very creative, very authentic, very individual. So my goal is to create a platform where people are able to express their individuality while also accessing their subconscious and using their minds to kind of like solve puzzles and things like that. Kind of like a game show, I would say.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
So that's my goal.
To make like a YouTube game show or something?
I'm
Or
not
is
sure
there
if
like
it's-
I guess, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it's YouTube, but so a couple of days ago, I went to the Wheel of Fortune
Oh,
as an
no way.
audience. Yeah,
Oh,
as an
cool. They're
audience.
still doing that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I did that. And so while I was there, I was able to kind of see like the set and everything like that.
Mhm.
So I think that's ideally what I want to do.
To
It's
like
kinda-
create like a real game show?
Yeah, I think a game show where people are able to be like their authentic self and then also kind of like use their mind to kind of navigate like puzzles and things like that.
Like on a network or like what, like yeah, what that sounds like a BHAG, big hairy audacious goal.
Yeah. I'm not too sure yet. I'm still kind of just finding my path about it, but I think that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, like being able to create a platform that has creativity and kind of make different scenes, but also allow people to kind of have joy and fun and creativity in it as well.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds really cool. So, I like to talk a lot about like self-development. Like obviously like through playing sports, you have to develop your skills physically. Through school, you develop yourself mentally. Like after school, like how have you continued to like develop yourself mentally and physically?
So I feel like school was never really for me. I feel like I'm very good at learning individually, like just researching and just like self-teaching, I guess. So that was a major part of me. Like I said, solitude and introspection is really big for me. So I would just kind of learn as I go. If I wanted to kind of learn different things, just Google it and then just practice and put in effort with it as well. Yeah, I studied them. I mean, I went to school for sociology and psychology, but I feel like that was kind of a stepping stone for me to look up things individually about the subconscious mind and the mind in general and how people behave in just society in general. So I think that's kind of like where it led me to.
Have you read Psycho-Cybernetics?
No, I haven't.
It's like a subconscious book. What other? I'm trying to think of all the subconscious books. Do you read at all? Like, are you reading anything currently?
Not right now. I think the last book that I read was a creative. What was it? It's something about creative. It's like a gray book with like a circle in the middle.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was
do
the
you
last one I read.
do you have a favorite author?
I would say Young Pueblo, probably.
I've never heard of.
He's really big on like healing and like having clarity within relationships.
Is he? No, I'm thinking like the author of the Four Agreements, but that's another guy. I can't remember. What else? Okay, so where do you see yourself in like 5 years from now?
I would say a model, a creative. I'm not sure if I want to be a producer yet or just kind of. But I think having my own game show. I'm going to stick with that. I mean, that's the end goal, I think, because I want to be able to encompass like creativity, producing, and modeling, or acting, I guess, as well. And I feel like that specific role will allow me to do that, you know? But I know like you need baby steps, and I know like it can be possible. It's a big stride, but I mean, I think with the work and effort and the energy and the intention, like it can happen.
Yeah, you could create anything you desire. It's like you believe you can. Have you read Think and Grow Rich?
No.
What does he say? He says, the man in mind can achieve, I can't achieve anything he believes, basically. So if you believe that you can, Henry Ford says, like, you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, either way, you're right. So, yeah, I think my life is kind of a testament of, like, how I have no idea how I got here, but like somehow I'm here, and somehow people think I'm important. So like all right, let's just keep that going. But I'm huge on developing myself. Like we read as a team books like regularly. We go through like audio programming. I have like a personal trainer, so I'm like pushing that on the team. Daily exercises, daily mental development. Because I just said this metaphor on a podcast I did yesterday, but it was so. The reason why expanding your mind and your consciousness and keep learning and developing your skills and you're opening your mind is so important, because think about like if you didn't know what gold it was, like the value of it, and you're walking through a gold mine and you like stub your toe on a big old chunk of gold. There's literally a big chunk of gold like this in a casino, the Golden Nugget in Vegas. It's like this big, and it's like worth like $2 million. So imagine like you're walking, you don't know the value of gold, you stub your toe on this rock, and you're like, oh, this freaking rock, and you throw it.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the knowledge and the information to see like that value of gold, you just like walk by it and you're like, oh, this rock, you know, but like that's all around us all the time. Like there's opportunity, and there's another book called Acres of Diamonds. There's opportunity all around you all the time. So if you don't have the like depth of vision or the depth of consciousness to see it, like it's just like flying over you like left and right, like, you know. Are you familiar with the Acres of Diamonds story? Have you heard that? No. Okay, so there's this story, and there's this guy. This is like medieval time, or it's before medieval. It's like Jerusalem time, like Jesus around that time, right? And so there's this guy, and he like there's a monk, and he comes by and he shows him like this rock, and he's like, whoa, it's like all sparkly. He's like, what is this? He's never seen anything like that. He's like, my friend, this is a diamond. And he's like, the diamond is so valuable. It's like the most valuable thing you could find, right? So the guy, he's a wealthy farm owner. He has like a bunch of land. He's got like lines of credit. People owe him money. Like he's got cows and sheep and like a big old beautiful property with like a river that runs through it. And he was a wealthy man. He woke up a wealthy man. I'm kind of butchering this story. But then the monk came, showed him the thing, and he went to bed a poor man. So he was like focused on the lack of the diamond. He was like having the diamond. He told him like this much diamonds would be worth more than everything you have. So he's like became obsessed about it and was like, I need to have diamonds. So he sold his property and like kind of left his family. They like his like family took care of his brother took care of his family, and he went off into the world like in search of diamonds, and basically like eventually ran out of money, and he was ragged, and he was like so ashamed and embarrassed that he like just dived off like this big rock pinnacle where it's somewhere in Jerusalem or something, but it's like where the rocks like like the big ocean crashes against rocks. So he basically like jumped off and like committed suicide and never to be found again. So then on the counterpart of that story, the man who bought his land, there was a river that ran by. He found like a cool looking rock and was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And he took it into the mantle and like put it in the mantle in his thing and forgot about it. Months later, the same monk came by and was like, whoa, where did you find that? Like, that's a diamond. It's like a super valuable diamond. He's like, oh, this rock, I just found it in the river. And he's like, no way, that's a diamond. Let's go back out there. And so they went through and they like saw it. And I think this was based on a true story, and that property now is the biggest mine of diamonds like in the entire world. Like every diamond, or like 90% of the diamonds have come from that piece of land, from that like original owner. And so the moral of the story was there's acres of diamonds like in your backyard, like unlimited wealth opportunities that you're just not taking advantage because you're looking elsewhere to like try to see it when it's like really just in your backyard. You just don't take the chance to look in your backyard for the opportunity. So I don't know how that came up, but that story is it's a great book. It's a little book. It's like tiny little book, but yeah, it's really dope. And so when I like take it into context of my own life, it's like this studio business is an acre of diamonds where like we didn't expect it to be like this big or like growing this rapidly. We opened the first studio in Las Vegas simply by accident. Judy, my wife, had an e-commerce store, and it was a candle store, and we had like a candle maker, and they worked out a facility. And the facility was, oh crap, let me text this girl. Sorry, she's probably texting me. I feel bad.
It's okay.
Okay. So my wife and daughter, you could see they're young. My daughter's young, and she was younger. She was like 1 or 2 at the time, and it was just in this really bad side of town. I mean, compared to LA, like LA is just always a bad side of town, at least my experience. But so it was a really bad side of town in Vegas. There's just like crackheads everywhere, which again is like normal around here. Yeah. Crackheads everywhere, like cops, all like that's not so like prevalent in Vegas, but in this area it was. And I went down there one day and I was like, holy crap, this is so bad. Like, we need to get you in a nicer space. And one of my clients had I knew was a nice space and there was empty space. So I was like, I leased the space. I put the down payment or whatever. It was brand new. There was like no walls. So they had to like build the whole thing. And she was like, after, 2 months into the build, she's like, I don't want to do this business anymore. Or I was like, okay, cool, whatever. We have this space. What are we going to do with it? And we had the other business, Pathfinder. So I was like, let's just make it a studio. So we made it well, we didn't officially make it a studio. I was like, I don't want to pay for this overhead. Like, I don't want to pay this rent. I don't really need to. So I started listing it on Peerspace. We made it a studio, and then it started getting booked. And I was like, holy smokes, like, this could be a real thing. So then we kind of made that business on accident, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing. And so, like, that's an example of, like, an acres of diamonds that there's always an opportunity somewhere within your environment that can unlock like unlimited potential opportunity, wealth for you. You just have to be willing to like see it instead of like being lost. And I think what you're doing is it starts with being grounded and centered and like knowing yourself. And then from that clarity, you're able to see the world a lot better, I think, potentially.
Thank you for sharing that. Then I don't know if you've seen like on my Instagram, I put like wildflower on my bio, but basically like what that signifies is like a plant, because I feel like there's a lot of people who are molded in society by like a certain way or a certain trend that they have to be. And so for like the wildflower is a plant that's not touched by society or not touched by or molded in a certain way, and it's planted and it's grown freely. And so I feel like that kind of has to go hand in hand with what you said about like a diamond or like a gem, because like the way that they're cut is to reflect different angles or has different angles of itself. And I feel like it kind of reflects like my multifaceted personality in terms of like a wildflower as well. And so I think that's why I was meant to have this journey of self-discovery, because I feel like I don't just fit one mold, like I fit different molds, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like I think in growing and developing, like I'll share another couple stories and then we'll probably have to get out of here because the squirrel wants her dad. But you have to go through those phases like multiple times. So my very first business, I was 23 and I went bankrupt. I lost everything. Girlfriend broke up with me, lost my car, house, everything. And I had to restart. And I was like back in my parents' house looking at the sky like I must have done something wrong. And I had to reinvent myself. Then my next second big business venture was I had a delivery service, like weed delivery. So I was a baker before I did all this. And so I would make edibles and like sell them. And then I got raided by the DEA. And then, I got in trouble and indicted. And that was a big failure where I had to like rediscover myself. And then this last, everything's reinventing yourself. Like right now, the studio is like reinventing. So you have to like, once you get clear on an identity and you're on a path, there'll be another point where I think if you want to continue growing, you don't have to continue growing. Like there's a lot of people that stop growing and then just live in that same space. But then you see this like line of like a boundary, a reinvent. Like you have to step into the uncertainty again and push your boundaries again. So like currently your circumstances probably made you shift into uncertainty and push those boundaries and like develop yourself. Once you get comfortable again, which like once you start having any level of success, it's pretty easy to get comfortable. But you need to then again push your boundaries and rediscover yourself and step into the uncertainty. A lot of people call it like fear as well, like facing your fears and like going through it. But I don't label it fear because it's really just uncertainty. It's like you're stepping into a space where you've never known what was there before and you don't know what to expect. And naturally, fear comes with that. But if you take the word fear away, it's just uncertainty. And as long as you have faith and you move forward and you do all the things appropriately, things usually work out. I mean, that's my approach is like everything usually works out for me, and I'm usually pretty lucky as long as you do all the right things. Like you can't discount or discredit like work ethic and like, being smart and all of those things. But if you're doing all that and you're pushing energy, you're being smart, you're doing everything properly, and you have faith, then it will probably work out. So faith and fear are like the same energy, it just opposite counterparts. So faith, it's like an imaginary energy that isn't really there. It's like I have faith that it's going to go well and I feel good about it. Fear is the same thing, false evidence appearing real. But you're like focused on this imaginary situation that hasn't happened, but it's creating a bad physical energy inside of you. So if you just like catch yourself and you're like, oh, I'm feeling this or I'm feeling this, you just shift over to the faith side and it usually works out. Like, granted, you're doing all the right things. Like, you can't discredit the process, but it's just a learning experience, you know, like going through it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think fear definitely stops a lot of people from pursuing what they want to do. And also kind of like in society, just in general, just like being their best version of themselves. I think that's like one of the top barriers that prevents people, because like they're scared to take that leap of faith or scared to do something that may look kind of off to society or off to different people within their lives as well.
100%. I mean, yeah. So I do this big training. I'm going to refer to a book, Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. And it talks about like the 7 fears that plague mankind. So every human has the same basic fears. It's fear of poverty, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love, fear of death, fear of criticism, fear of like, there's 2, I don't remember all of them, but those are basically it. And so really what you just referred to is called the fear of criticism. And it's the reason why a lot of people don't do anything. It's like, oh, what's my mom going to think? Oh, what's my uncle going to think? Oh, what's my aunt going to think? What are these people going to think? And I do this like corporate training when people want to get started building their social media or their personal brand or putting out content. A lot of times people have a story that they tell themselves, like, I need to get a camera. I need to get this set. I need to get all this, right? Like, this whole thing costs us like $25,000. Like, most people don't have those type of resources, right? So they're like, oh, I can't get started or I can't do this. But then if you go a layer deeper, it's like, why can't you do that? Then they'll say, oh, because it's not going to be right, or it's like not going to be this. But you ask another layer deep, like why, and it's like, oh, because I'm afraid of looking silly. And like, okay, why are you afraid? Who's going to determine if you look silly, right? And it's like, oh, well, like everyone I know. So like the social media platforms, it's like everyone you've ever known across your entire life, right? Like people you met in Seattle, people from LA, people from all over, like everyone you've ever met is on your social media. So that might as well be like the world stage. Like you might as well be Drake or Kendrick Lamar in front of like millions of people. That's what it's like in our mind, right? Yeah. And so the reason why we don't move forward is because of that fear of criticism, because you're in front of all like the world stage. But in order to move forward, you have to just be courageous and like take action and do the best. Like no matter what, like your first attempt, like let's call it, what sport did you play?
Swimming, track, and volleyball.
Okay, swimming. Let's just go swimming. Like Michael Phelps, the first time he like hopped in the pool, right? Like he didn't get his gold medal. Like it doesn't matter. Like the first time you put out content, it's gonna suck. The first time you do anything, it's gonna suck. But like the only way to get better is through the repetition, right? Like putting in inputs, failing, and gathering feedback, and then just that process. So you have to be brave enough to go through that process. If not, then you're never gonna get better at swimming, basketball, anything, right? Yeah. So like that's again back to the corporate training. It's like, you're not going to be Michael Phelps. You're not going to be Michael Jordan on your first attempt. But if you keep trying and you keep practicing and getting the reps in, eventually you will get good at it. And so it's like, how bad do you want it? Do you want it? Do you want that? Or if you don't? And if you don't want to sacrifice and look silly and like, you know, then it's like, let go of that dream or you'll continue to be unhappy. But if you are brave enough to push through that, then on the other end, you will like learn the skill and become successful at it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Have you seen the movie Lucy?
I have.
Okay. That kind of reminded me of like the scene where she's like, there's a certain time where she kind of like doesn't have fear anymore. And then after that, she's kind of just like unstoppable and able to do like what she wants to do in life or her goal.
I mean, that's basic. I mean, I feel like that now. Like I don't have fear anymore around situations because I know that everything's always working out for me. I'll share another story. We still have time. This other session's not here yet, but I'll share a story. In Vegas in 2020, me and Judy were going to buy a house. It was not the best side of town. And we ended up putting $5,000 down on the escrow to hold the house or whatever to go through the process. Whatever, it didn't work out and we lost the house. Like our loan didn't come through. And so then the $5,000 in escrow basically gets wiped. Like you lose that. Like that's what it's for, is if it doesn't go through, it goes towards the seller or whatever. So we lost $5,000. And like at the time, that was way more significant than it is to us now. But that was a lot of money for us at the time. And I remember we found out that we lost it. I told Judy, I was like, let's go celebrate. Let's go like crack some champagne. Because the best thing, like the best thing is always working out for us, right? Like, if this wasn't the best situation and it didn't work out, that means there must be something better.
Yeah.
Like the reason there's no such thing as good or bad. Our mind allocates the meaning to it, right? So like that might have seemed like a bad situation, but what ended up happening is we ended up finding a way better house in a way nicer neighborhood with a way better backyard. And we ended up moving into that and saved like $30,000. So like that $5,000 saved us $30,000, and we were in a better situation, right? So like, was that in the beginning? If we would have been like super upset, like, oh, this is the worst thing, it's so bad, we would have never. Or if we would have went through on that, we would have never had this great, beautiful house that we live in now. So like, you have to always think of that as things, quote unquote, are going wrong. There must be something better. Otherwise, if this was the best thing that could have happened, then it would have happened for us. But if it didn't, that means there's something way better for you. So once you burn that into your brain long enough, and you start to believe that, like when things go wrong, I'm like, well, something better's got to be happening, you know? Something's in the works. Someone's looking out for us.
Have you seen that post of like there's like a flower and there's like a bouquet of flowers and it's like my plan and then God's plan?
Oh,
and it's
no,
like
I
God's
haven't.
is like the bouquet of flowers. It's like kind of like you want this thing, but like God is trying to provide you even more than like you have ever imagined.
100%. That's 100%. Well, where can the people find you?
On Instagram, Marguerite Bria.
Marguerite Bria. Well, thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for enduring with us through the technical difficulties. And it was a pleasure to meet you and pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.